The following podcast contains opinion and commentary protected by the First Amendment and fair use. It may also contain adult themes, adult concepts, and adult language not suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
Why do we have to, every time Rachel says something, you're just like, oh, you're not listening. It's just like, I don't get it. She is listening. She's listening to every word you say. And she's presenting something, and then you come back and shake your head and sigh.
Okay. Anyway.
Submit to an interview.
Wow. Stop. Well, if you let me. We're moving on to the next question. We're not gonna get very far with that. So
they can prove that this is not the first time she's done it. But okay. Even if you disagree with me,
I felt like I was juggling a flaming chainsaw while having my leg bitten by a German Shepherd. Okay. All right. We're moving on to the next question.
What lawyer ever says that?
Well, yeah. You're welcome that I gave you that's such an easy way to roast me.
You know it's a possibility you might not win something. We're talking about the appeal.
There's no chance you lost this appeal.
Yeah.
You will have this.
Rachel, here, can I offer you like a cookie or something? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
Not that. In our case, we like our case.
I shouldn't have said that. Can we move on? Okay.
Yeah. Well, pull it up. These statutes were invoked.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on. You're getting. Okay.
But show me a case that says that, because your cases don't. I've read them all now. Just give me a quote from Holgate. Just give me a quote from Holgate.
Can you hang on? Can you hang on for just a second here? Okay. Lord. Okay. You are pretending. Wait. If you want me to stay on this, you need to let me have fair opportunity to answer, okay?
David, of 58 minutes, you probably talked for 42 of them. I mean, come on, man.
Okay, guys.
Hold on.
Let me...
Rachel. There's
God.
only the Rule 11. Hold on. There's other authority. What was at issue in that case?
We got to move on. We got to move on from that.
Is the whole point. Try to withdraw it. There were other issues before the court.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay, Steve, can we move on? Because we're not going to get...
And then you come back and shake your head and sigh.
I know,
but... He don't have any authority to infringe his copyright or whatever, that I interfered with his...
But way before my time, way before I was there.
Way before you there. Where are these children?
Okay, you ready?
Where are they, David? This is the one thing that I think everybody wants to know.
Okay.
She's still 6 months pregnant. Can I show my belly? How would she have a belly in November if she miscarried in July or August?
Look.
It's still not appropriate for her to include that finding of fact. Where are the people? There were reasons that her findings would have been inadmissible.
My Lord. Steve. Oh my God.
And then Rachel gets 5 to 10 seconds before you sigh.
Read the emails with Clayton, the emails with Greg, the text messages with Mike. 5 that it is, but something that purports to be.
Whatever.
If you would have won, obviously, if you would have won, you would have gloated too.
Here, sign something saying that you raped me, that Laura was pregnant. I don't know what that would be. I mean, she's been running around subpoenaing things, apparently.
Welcome back to your favorite cubbyhole on the internet, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all types. We don't discriminate here because justice doesn't want discrimination. And as predicted, like the tides, I could set my tide clock to them. We have yet another entry in the used toilet paper series by Dingus the douche canoe.
The fucking douche canoe.
Law Offices Esquire, about indicted felon Laura Michelle Owens. That's right. They just can't keep their mouth shut, and I will bet you $1 bazillion, which nobody has these days because life is expensive. They had this prepared several days in advance, and they had it ready to drop the moment that Rachel Mitchell announced that Laura Michelle Owens would be indicted on 7 to be exact, felony counts, ranging from perjury to tampering with evidence. And of course, fraud. Well, generally speaking, it's all sort of fraud in a general vague sort of way in my non-legal mind. See, this is the joy about not being a lawyer. I don't have to worry about all of these specific technicalities. I just have to understand them enough to opine on them, and that's about all I'm good for. And of course, As one might expect, absolutely everybody has been talking about this today. The internet has been afire. It has been aflame, not only in LawTube and YouTube creation, but also major networks have finally picked up this case. Of course, after everyone else has done the work, all the great people like Dave and Lauren and Omar and Megan and everybody. I'm not trying to be exclusive. It's just I could sit here forever rattling off everyone's names, and I'm not sure I'm going to remember them all. One of these days, I might actually get down to writing them all down. But there's lots of people engaging in this case because it's such an unprecedented case. It's unprecedented in the many ways that who fakes a pregnancy to be with a man? It's just so bizarre. And then who tries to fight criminal prosecution? Who tries to fight the paternity case they brought? Number one, especially when it's proven that they're faking the whole thing. It's just the level of entitlement, the level of delusional entitlement is about what I want to frame this as, is absolutely off the charts. And I don't think it's just with Laura Michelle Owens. I think it may also be the delusional entitlement of her attorney, Dingus the douche canoe.
The fucking douche canoe.
It's just too much. It's too much. The two, like we've said and others have said, the two are a match made in hell for each other. And it just doesn't get any better. It just doesn't. It's not going to get better for her. And I think at some point, unless some sort of weird thing happens, like Dingus the douche canoe ends up being co-counsel. Why, I don't know, because he's not a defense attorney. He's just the last sucker or patsy who got involved with this woman legally. And perhaps all of her attorneys before, Josh Lopez, some others, their names are escaping me all of a sudden because I'm trying to do this quickly and I'm not succeeding yet. I've got too much of a rambling preamble. It's too much to cover. It's too much to cover. I need an assistant. We need a whole crew. We need a whole crew to cover this. So then I don't have to do all the talking. And I can just kind of nod and smile and say, yeah. And just jump in once in a while. No, that's not my luck. We're on it for ourselves for the time being until I pony up the shekels to purchase StreamYard and bring on some other faces, which is something we are considering. As we are also considering seeing the criminal trial of Laura Michelle Owens for felony counts. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it greatly. We've got preliminary dates. Those dates are not going to hold. We know the trial dates and all of those things will be moved down. We know all of the dates are fluid as motion practice happens, discovery happens, all the usual lawyering, backing and forthing. There must be backing and forthing before we even get to the final status conference. That's just the way these things go. So we know it's not going to be the dates that were published. If we're lucky, it will be within a year from now, give or take, if we're lucky. So I think I might just plan a little vacation to Scottsdale, Arizona. It might be my first visit ever. No, that's not true. I've flown through there. I've had a stop in Phoenix in the past. Either way, I might find a reason to stop there and watch the criminal trial of Laura Michelle Owens, because I think it'll be worth the price of admission. And I think it would be worth it to all those who follow me on this channel to actually make a physical representation. And I would absolutely be tickled to meet some of these other wonderful people who've been talking about this case and in whom's chats I've engaged myself here and there as time and work allowed. Unfortunately, I don't have the privilege of putting work on hold and popping on YouTube to do too many things. But we try and make a difference where we can, and that's the whole reason, right? That's why we are here. All right. That's enough introduction. Keep it tight. So let's get to the absolute egregious blog posting by Dingus the douche canoe.
The fucking douche canoe.
And I think I will take this in chronological order. Some people have read the Laura Michelle Owens indicted felon press release first, and then went to Dingus the douche canoe. We'll make this brief. I'll read it quickly because it's the same things. There is really not much new here, quite frankly. And I don't think they have much of a play left because this is all they've done from the beginning since Dingus the douche canoe took over. And there's been no change in play, which is not surprising. Like many others, I've said this before, I believe Laura Michelle Owens is going to be fighting this tooth and nail as she goes down in absolute flames in her trial. I've seen some people wonder if maybe she's thinking about going pro se. I would highly doubt that. A woman of her privilege and status, that would be like having the hired help. You know, you don't date the hired help. You've got to have good representation. I don't know what kind of analogy I'm trying to make there. I'm trying to be funny quickly, and it just doesn't work. We need the time for this to marinate a little more in the head, but it's more of the same. As we've been saying, it's more of the same. It's Dingus the douche canoe making arguments that don't really exist legally. It's him making sort of weird accusations. It's all the same. This is the same smoke and mirrors. It is published today. Everybody else has already talked about it. It was great fun to sit on all of the very quickly put together lives with Lauren and House of Flux and Megan and Dave and Reality Steve and Rachel Juarez. That was fantastic. We're all in a similar mind of where this is going and how. We can all see the patterns of behavior. We can all have a reasonable sense of the trajectory of where this thing will head. And if I had a great and hysterical voice to read Dingus the Douche Canoe, I would, but I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to waste any time getting this done. So he posts May 7, 2025, American Injustice. That's sort of a way thing. That's a weird way to put it. Injustice? Is it like a day in the life of? I don't know. I don't get it. 2025 style. He's trying to be amusing too, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. No one takes him seriously. Wow, this is a strange time in American legal history. We have a convicted felon in the White House, a man who jury already. We're not even a paragraph in, and we're going to political things to deflect from the criminal actions of his client. It's extraordinary, but not surprising. Oh my God. We have a justice on the Supreme Court who is accused of sexual assault and lying about it, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we know we're talking about Brett Kavanaugh. Get to the point, David. We have people being kidnapped off the street. Yes. Now, I do have concerns about the due process of some of that with things going on politically, but lest I digress too far, I'll just leave it at that. And on May 1st, 2025, Laura Owens was indicted for things.
What?
It was very specific things. It was 7 things, to be exact. And it was 7 felony things, to be exact. From Class 2 felonies to Class 4 felonies to Class 6 felonies. It wasn't just things. But we know this is his style of PR because he's absolutely incompetent as a lawyer, as we learned on Reality Steve and his backing and forthing with Rachel Juarez. It's my opinion of him. I'm allowed to have it. Anyone else can fuck off. That's just what I'm going to say about that guy. He's really not worth the time talking about anymore because we know what he does. We know how he does it. We know his playbook. I guess she's now eligible for public service. Well, that could be very entertaining, but she's going to have to be. She's going to have to go through a criminal trial first. Maybe then she could run for mayor of Scottsdale or something. I don't know. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. No one wants someone who's so perniciously awful as a woman who fakes pregnancies to try and entrap and extort men to represent them. Now, I would think less of Arizona than I do of the silliness going on in Florida, like with the What the Hales case right now, if such things would happen. He goes on to say, after we have the pictures of Donald Trump, Brett Kavanaugh, and poor defenseless Laura Michelle Owens in her turtleneck sweater, the red turtleneck sweater. The hair looks decent in this picture. Oh, old news. Never mind. Move on. Pick your crime, choose your criminal. Well, no, the crimes have been picked, and Laura Owens is the subject of this. Sorry, David. Your client is a criminal. Or, well, let's be clear. Your client is an indicted felon. We can't call her a criminal yet. Yes, she is presumed innocent until proven guilty in the court of law, and I have a pretty good feeling that the thoroughness to which Rachel Mitchell had subpoenaed everything that Laura Michelle Owens had in her possession, particularly electronic devices, and we liked to hypothesize jokingly that perhaps even a baby bump is in the evidence locker. We don't know. That's just a hypothetical. It's a fun hypothetical that maybe they found a latex pregnancy stomach from Amazon or some other such outlet in her closet. Wouldn't that be great? Or in mommy's closet, maybe. Who knows? We don't know the secrets lying around the Owens compound, do we? But we may see some of that as this process continues on. He says, in light of yesterday's news, lots of folks have reached out asking for comments, so here you go. I believe that to be true. I thought I saw a number of people poking at him on his Twitters. His last Twitter, I saw lots of people looking for comments and calling him all sorts of things, which were rather amusing to read, but I won't repeat them here for the time being. First, as I have said all along, I am not a criminal defense lawyer. I'm not qualified to represent Laura in the criminal case, so I won't be handling her defense. Well, thank God for that. Maybe she can actually get someone competent this time. He did no favors to Laura in this last representation in her paternity trial, so there's a chance she might do a little better going around, but she's so defiant that I'm not sure she'll be of much help for anyone who's working with her as a defense attorney. That's just my opinion. That job will be left to the best criminal defense lawyer we can find. Well, where are they going to get the money if she's supposedly allegedly indigent, which I'm not sure I believe. Actually, I've stated I don't believe that, I think she's going to have to rely on the grift of the parents and the grift of other people that's about all she's got. Since no one's come forward to defend her at all, I think that's all she really has, is she's got to suckle off the family tit. And more power to her. If she can't find someone that she can actually pay for that will take her on, then maybe they'll get stuck with a public defender. It's better than nothing. And dare I say that the average public defender would probably do a far better job than dipshit Dingus the douche canoe ever did himself. That's just another opinion. I'm going to be loaded with them today. Can you tell? Oh, let's see. Of course, I will do anything I possibly can to help support Laura through her case. That's bizarre. Support her how? With giving her what? What could you possibly offer her now? You have lost at every turn of this. I mean, we all want to see Laura spend some jail time. Well, actually, I think it would be prison time. There may be some jail time as she's being processed. We don't know yet. Arraignment needs to happen. All those things. She'll have to bond out, et cetera, et cetera. The usual things that criminals have to go through once they get indicted. So. But what does he have? What does he have? He has nothing other than that. I think he's got an unhealthy infatuation with her. Again, another opinion. And I have lots of good basis based on some of the things said by Schnitzel Ninja that makes me think there might be an unhealthy infatuation with his client. But we don't know. We don't see all of the behind-the-scenes stuff. I still find it odd that a legal adult well into their 30s is involving mom and dad take out the lawyer to dinner before representing the client. David stated himself that he met mom and dad, or at least mom. I'm pretty sure he said mom and dad. It's the strange things in this case and the behaviors of supposedly professional legal counsel just baffle me. But he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo. That's my opinion of him. He's an incompetent weirdo. That's also my opinion of him. Nothing will convince me otherwise at this point in time. I may skip around some of this. I don't care about his ramblings on pointing to Donald Trump or any other political thing. This is about his client, his indicted felon client, Laura Michelle Owens. He does say in this next paragraph that he's still planning to ask the Supreme Court of Arizona to review the paternity case, and that's due May 15th of this year. And he'll move forward with that filing as planned. We will have things to laugh at him about continually. Because I'm also quite confident, although again, I'm not a legal scholar of any sort, nor professional, I don't think they're going to hear it. I think they will decline his request. And that will be a sum total entirety case loss lose for Dingus the douche canoe. He can wear the scarlet letter L on his next jacket. L for Laura or L for loser. We don't know which, but that's what it would be. He rambles on about protecting law. He rambles on about not being a criminal law expert, but he's confused by the indictment. Oh, we're not confused. Since he allegedly saw fit not to take investment in the history of the case, I don't know that I believe that. I think that's his plausible deniability escape clause. He may have known all along. Well, we're theorizing. Let's keep that in mind. This is a theory. This is not fact. This is speculation. He may have known that this could end up in criminal places in a criminal trial, so he may have insulated himself from the entirety of the facts of this case just with that in mind. It may have been sort of a sleazy but careful move on his part. But again, that's just speculation. He talks about perjury charges that he's confused by, and he talks about the pleadings filed at certain times. He makes many of the same arguments we've heard him make before about since she's not being pregnant, nothing matters after that. And he talks about material things and textbook law. You know, it's funny. He has no business talking about what is textbook law because Rachel Juarez very succinctly pointed out to him how he was ignoring what textbook law was. So he's either deliberately being obtuse just for the sake of PR for his client, or he's really just that incompetent. I'm not sure that I can tell the difference yet. He talks about material issues. We don't care. He recites some Arizona statutes. We don't care. I don't trust any of his views or opinions on law because, well, he someone who doesn't even practice in Arizona, aka Rachel Juarez, mopped the floor with him. His legal positions are about as useful as the used toilet paper he's writing this blog on, and are also equally as worthy as the toilet paper, the used toilet paper his client is writing her press release on. Oh my God. Establish. You see, he's just re-arguing the whole case all over. How can you establish paternity without a baby? A judge can't establish paternity without a baby. Fuck off. Fuck off. And he goes on to talk about sonograms. He's talking about paternity again. He's talking about the DNA test. Skipping. This whole diatribe of his is an utter waste of time. Swollen bellies. I mean, see, it's everything. This is just the usual spaghetti. Spaghetti he tried to throw at the wall and did not stick remotely is absolutely worthless. Absolutely worthless. And he's got the reposting of things, of his nonsense. Absolute utter horseshit, all of it. I think we can just skip to the end here. And he goes on to accuse Rachel Mitchell, and he talks about, I think somewhere in this, I forget exactly where it is. He alleges that there may be a lawsuit for Rachel Mitchell, and he goes on to talk about law enforcement making mistakes. Just because charges are filed doesn't mean those charges are legally. So what? So what? This is a screed. This is his usual screed. This is his usual ploy and his usual smokescreen. The thing that I found far more egregious, which isn't surprising, is the press release by one indicted felon, Laura Michelle Owens. And here we have, just at the beginning of it, I don't know why this is even important. We're trying to deflect. This is evidently Laura just deflecting by, and I think we know who that is. I think we know who the person who's blurred out standing next to Rachel Mitchell, giving her his letter of, please prosecute Laura Owens, which the public can absolutely do. The incredulity from Laura Michelle Owens that she's so special that she's beyond reproach and she's beyond any sort of legal scrutiny just almost defies that of a sovereign citizen. Laws don't apply to me because I'm special. Her position seems to be slightly different. She just seems to believe her entitled delusions seem to position her in a strange place that sovereign citizens don't quite ever reach. That's usually one of being a spoiled rich bitch who's had her family cover for her entire life. And it's not only tragic, but it's an indictment on the entire family. We have that picture of Rachel Mitchell, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, a Justice for Clayton member. I think she knows who it is, too. But we're going to try and pretend to be vague while lightly blurring out the picture and holding a letter that called for my prosecution. Yes, a prosecution that was well-earned and well-deserved. Press release from Laura Owens. Oh, my God. Should I do this? Where's my Laura Owens voice? Oh, I think we need to do it this way because just the insanity of this deserves it.
Never been charged with a crime in my life. I am stunned by the 7 felony charges announced against me by the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. These allegations appear to be the result of coordinated harassment, misinformation, and public pressure in the aftermath of a paternity case I filed against former Bachelor star Clayton Echard.
Okay, I don't think I can do that much longer. I can't stand it just tearing at myself. Well, we know she has that Laura Owens vocal fry, which I'm not going to do either. That's we'll save the voices. You get the intent. Just imagine that voice as you read this, just as Megan Fox might use that voice throughout this entire thing. Since 2023, I have been the target of a relentless campaign. I'm surprised she didn't say relentless smear campaign. I mean, if I were going to engage in these sorts of delusional histrionics, you may as well pull out the big guns and the big words. I have been the target of a relentless campaign led by a group calling itself Justice for Clayton, a faction of Mr. Echard supporters. A faction? How many factions does he have? And are those factions in the room right now? Jesus. A faction of Mr. Echard supporters who built an entire narrative on a demonstrably false claim. No, actually, you were proven as a fraudulent liar and perjurer in a court of law. It is a matter of law, Laura Michelle Owens, that you are a liar. Too bad. Too bad. Judge Julie Mata, who you hate and despise for not caving into your bullshit, has absolutely called you. She has called you for what you are. Oh, okay. Am I ranting again? Oh, I shouldn't do that. I'm running out of time. That accusation became their rallying cry, fueling thousands of hours of monetized YouTube content. Well, I would love for my YouTube content to be monetized. I don't see a penny. I don't even have enough people to monetize my content. So fuck you, Laura Michelle Owens. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe this will be that which builds my channel covering this case. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said the other day, I'm not in this for the money. I've got jobs I enjoy doing, and they make me plenty enough money to live comfortably, for which we are grateful. This is a hobby. For those of us like myself who have the First Amendment right to comment on public cases like this and make our opinions publicly known, what does she have? She's got nothing other than lots of felony indictments and lots of problems, so she can go piss off. Oh, thousands of hours. I've lost my spot already. Oh, God. Monetized YouTube content, Reddit threads, and social media attacks, many of which dissected my medical history, mental health, and personal life with obsessive cruelty. Well, if you weren't such an obsessive-compulsive bitch chasing after men with fake pregnancy scams, that a court of law has found you to be a fraudulent person and a person who commits perjury, and now a Maricopa County prosecutor has indicted you for 7 felonies, this wouldn't be a conversation. And there's nothing obsessively cruel about pointing out the obvious. Now, we have every right to call you things like a bitch and a cunt for your behavior, because that's what we see. You haven't given us anything else to believe otherwise, other than the words of your attorney who is not very trustworthy in the accuracy of his comments. Nor are his comments based in fact or law. To use a judicial quote. The abuse eventually moved offline. Well, I'm not sure where. Prove it. It's not been abuse. Good God. This is so hyperbolic, it's ridiculous. What abuse? Is there somebody standing outside the pool house just saying, oh, Laura Owens is a liar? Well, if they're standing in the public right of way, I think they have every right to do so until the police determine they're a nuisance to remove them or some such thing. Not that we are not endorsing that, by the way. This is not a get out of jail free card to go show up at the Owens residence with signage. Although I think one is allowed to make protests known in legal fashions. So in order to do so and protest legally, make sure you're complying with all the local laws. That's all I'm going to say about those who wish to protest in any sort of public arena they so choose. This is our public arena of choice to protest, or to protest the behavior of Laura Michelle Owens at least. The group issued a public death threat against my mother and called in multiple false welfare checks to our home. No, there were legitimate people, including an FBI investigator, that called in a welfare check because of if you were falsifying these comments where you're claiming you were going to harm yourself, Laura, you should be prosecuted for those things too. I don't think there's really much of a limitation on which could be prosecuted. They brought 7 felony charges, but I think there's certainly the possibility more could be added. It's hard to say for sure. I'm not sure they will. I think Rachel Mitchell chose that which had the best chance of being fully and completely prosecuted in a criminal trial. Those which could be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's what they're going with. That's the whole thing with the case building in this case with Laura's felonies. This is all masturbation. David's post was masturbation. This is Laura's typical masturbation. Oh, I'm the victim. I'm Laura Michelle Owens. I can only be a victim. I never do anything wrong. I ain't done nothing wrong, might be what they say on the body cam footage, if she had such an accent, but she doesn't. We see that all the time on LawTube, don't we? I ain't done nothing. For what? For what? Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes, we saw the body cam footage. It was very revealing. And the body cam footage to me revealed that Laura's mother is, I believe, I don't have facts to prove this, but I believe based on the behavior in the body cam footage of Jan Black, a.k.a. Elizabeth Naylor Owens, that she is complicit in enabling Laura's behavior. She may be complicit in some other actions, but only the prosecutor has that evidence since they scrubbed through Laura's electronic devices. And I think they uncovered all kinds of things, but they picked the best. We want a winning case. We want to see Laura Michelle Owens prosecuted, and we want to see her sentenced into the fullest extent of the law. That's what we want to see. And I have every confidence that that will actually happen. Knowing the resulting body cam footage would be released publicly and weaponized to humiliate me further. You did that to yourself, Laura. No one has any pity for you. Zero. I'm actually in a deficit of pity for Laura now. When I heard this the first time, all of these postings earlier today on all the various channels, I was quite incensed. And if I wasn't at work, I would have hopped on the microphone right there and talked about this, because this is just ridiculous. This is just a woman. This is a woman from such entitlement. She is so delusionally entitled that she thinks she can get away with crimes. This is the sort of story that documentaries are made of, because people like this are just nuts. Okay, let's not get into the mental health things yet, because I think Laura's mental health claims are somewhat of a ruse. Yes, she's got issues because this is a combination of some genetic factors, but absolutely some environmental factors. The way she was raised, there's just no question whatsoever. Okay, I need to stop interjecting. In June 2024, after the conclusion of the paternity case, the group turned its focus to law enforcement. They launched an international letter writing campaign demanding my indictment. Yes, I'm sure it was, because everyone saw this for what it was. Just 4 days after my case was formally referred to County Attorney Rachel Mitchell, Mitchell's photographs. She goes about talking about that stupid picture. Who the fuck cares? I don't care about the image. I don't care who it was shared with. This is about you and your felony case. This is about you and your felonies, plural, case. November 2024, because of my No. This is not about autism. This is about you being a criminal. Autism doesn't make people criminals. Autism makes people, depending on their functioning level of autism, they can be anything from essentially very normal seeming people by the average layperson to people who have special needs. I have yet to meet one on the autistic spectrum that was genuinely a criminal mastermind who fakes pregnancies to entrap men. I've yet to see one. That's not to say that Laura may not have something that could be diagnosable, but she has yet to provide any proof of that. While they acknowledged receiving my request, they never. I formally requested disability-related. There's no disability to accommodate here that she has proven. So there's nothing disability-related to ask of Rachel Mitchell's office. So this is disingenuous. While they acknowledged receiving my request, they never followed up. Under federal law, that isn't a formality; it's a requirement. Well, that depends. You have to be proven. It seems to me to have a disability request, there has to be evidence of that. And one has to, I don't know if Arizona requires a disability permit for such accommodations. We don't know what even kind of disability is trying to be sought after or claimed here. This is ridiculous. They were obliged to engage in good faith. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I'm wasting my time. Same office never acknowledged that I hold a valid, they know this stuff. They know the stuff. They know you have an order of protection. You falsely filing police reports claiming that Clayton's talking about you, or especially since you've been indicted. They're fallacious at best. We don't care. We don't care. Oh, she's talking about, is that Mike's? October 23? Whoever. Either Mike, Greg, or Clayton. I'll move on. I feel very confident that we'll hear some announcements from the other men soon, that they will be pursuing some things against Laura Michelle Owens, as they rightfully should, and as we've encouraged here as much as we can. In the May 2025 indictment against me, despite sustained pressure from the Justice for Clayton group, the MCAO did not charge me with faking a pregnancy. No, because faking a pregnancy isn't the legal nexus for which one would be charged for crimes. The crimes will be the behaviors. In other words, fraud. Fraudulently creating, falsifying, altering evidence, committing perjury, and tampering with evidence. Those were the basic nexus for which they charge. You know, having pregnancies or not having pregnancies are not in the criminal statutes. Get out of here with that crap. They omitted the most critical fact. Oh, so, okay, now so she's going to double down into the Dingus the dipshit douche canoe.
The fucking douche canoe.
All of his talking points about all the different points of the case. These we'll skip through this. For transparency, members of the press are welcome to contact me directly for temporary access to my patient portal. Is that the Dropbox? There's lots of links. All of these blue things are links to a Dropbox. Dropbox.com/scl/fi, and then it's a whole big long address. Oh my God, she's trying to pawn off the same falsified evidence, I'll bet. I don't know. I'm not going to click on it. I don't want her. I don't want her getting any IP addresses I may be using, even if we're very well protected, which we are right now. We're not going to click on them nonetheless. I think this is a ruse, and I'm not gonna get baited by this bitch. Let's finish this off. These charges appear to be the product of intense public pressure, not impartial judgment. Well, it's a prosecution. They follow the leads. They take the evidence. They take your devices, they investigate, and they make charges accordingly. And these charges were brought by a grand jury, people who are not familiar with this. So a jury of, shall we say, her peers, I think 12 people in a grand jury in this case, they all agreed with the prosecution to bring these charges to criminal trial. So you can't tell me that this is based solely upon being nudged politically. Absolutely not. Why shouldn't the public be encouraging the prosecutor of any area to actually go after the crimes before them, especially of a crazy loon like Laura Michelle Owens? They reflect a system that responded to outlet. No, none of this is true. None of this is true. Although online people did probably have some degree of encouragement towards actually seeing this through. As the public should. The public should take interest in the cause of justice and making sure that it gets completed. It is not difficult to see them as a part of a broader effort to discredit me, discourage me, and make an example out of me. Yes, you better damn well believe we're going to make an example out of you, Laura Michelle Owens. We are going to make certain that this fraud of yours that you've peddled for so many years discourages anyone from ever engaging in this sort of behavior ever again. Because when the public sees that you will be prosecuted for being a fraud, and that you'll be prosecuted for fraudulently claiming pregnancy, twin pregnancies before it was even possibly medically to be proven, it's time to call that out, and it's time to criminally prosecute you. And because you can't seem to get the message, Laura, that you are not special and that you are not above the law. You need to learn a lesson, and we don't think that lesson will ever be learned unless you sit in jail or prison for a while. So if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. You've had every opportunity to come out and say, you know what, I was in a bad place. I did some things I'm not proud of. I said some things I shouldn't have said. I made up some things that I shouldn't have made up. That would be absolutely perfectly viable way to get out of this. But you haven't done that. You've continued to dig in your heels deeper and deeper and deeper. And this will bury you. This will absolutely bury you. And no one will feel any sense of remorse if we see that red turtleneck sweater in prison. We won't. We won't, because you've earned it, and the criminal process and the judicial process will have worked effectively to have proven that beyond reasonable doubt. And you will be put where you need to be put. Behind bars, should you take a plea deal, which is an option before you, you'll still have to admit to something. There is no escape admitting what happened here. There is no escaping you being held accountable for this fraud. None whatsoever. I intend to meet these accusations head on, and I will defend myself fully and relentlessly through every step of this process. Yes, we're sure. This pretty much tells us she's going to go down in a heaping flame. She had every chance. She had every chance. I feel no remorse. I feel no pity. I have zero empathy for her at this point. She had every chance. And unless she decides to take a plea deal, which she is entitled to do, that's between her and her defense counsel, she has other ways to try and get off of this a little bit lighter. We will see Laura Michelle Owens being tried for 7 felony counts, unless something happens. And who knows? The world is crazy. We shall see where it goes. So that's all for this evening from the cubbyhole, one and all. And until next time, until there's more to talk about, we'll see you next time. And please be sure, like and subscribe, hit those buttons. The algorithm loves you for them, and so do I. Bye for now.